Hello everyone, I hope you all are good, doing well. So today we are here again with one of the most important theme related to UPSC examination and PCS examination. The theme is governance. We have seen in UPSC mains around 70 to 75 marks question has been asked in mains paper, and directly and indirectly we can see its relevance in our prelims examination as well. So before further delaying, I have picked this theme from the Hindu newspaper of today, 7th Jan 2025, and this lecture is being represented by me. My name is Shama. So as I always emphasize, before reading anything during your preparation time, you should read or buy only those material which has some kind of its relevance in your UPSC examination, be it mains or be it prelims. So we can see that its relevance in the paper GS paper 2 directly, and that is governance itself. The topic is written, and apart from that we can use this topic in transparency, accountability and e-governance, that is also mentioned in our GS paper mains syllabus. We can use the same theme and the topic or information in our GS paper 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. Here we can see its relation with the public administration in ethics, public administration ethics and probity in governance. In essay paper we can use this if the question is related to government scheme, democracy, technology, good governance, e-governance, digital India. So we can use the theme of governance here also. In prelims I have seen I always emphasize in prelims it's not directly it's talking about something like we have to use, but if suppose there is a certain scheme, I remember the question has been asked related to government e-marketplace, GEM. So the question was asked related to that scheme. So you can use this governance scheme. If government is using this kind of a scheme, there is a possibility that you are going to see the questions in prelims itself. So I have also emphasized here the importance how you can use this information in your mains answer writing. I already emphasized that 75 marks is somehow important in your GS paper 2, and that is directly you can cover that marks from your just completing governance topic. Example you can see here the essay, I have given certain example like transparency is the hallmark of good governance. You can use the theme here, discussion and the synergy between democracy and governance reform. So this is where we can use this governance topic in our syllabus or in our answer writing or while preparing. So this was the theme which I have, and this was the topic which was covered in the Hindu newspaper, enhancing governance in digital way. So there's a one I have find 2-3 point very important, and I have highlighted also the important point. You just need to rephrase it and write in your governance notes where you can use this. Like they have talked about this digital taking digital empowerment forward. So they have given 4 hurdle like cyber security, digital divide, incentivize, there's a issue in incentivizing the scheme, and the resistance of people in order to change their habits. So this is something they have emphasized here. So like like if and the a perspective which you can use directly in your conclusion in your essays, in your essay as well as in your governance answer, if the topic is related to digital governance or e-governance. So that's all, you can take it from here. So further I have tried to complete or try to give an overview about the governance and e-governance, and I have covered a bit of good governance topic also. So first of all we are going to see what is governance. Without seeing here and there, just think about what is governance. Governance is the exercise which is being like if suppose a government is making certain kind of a policies, and the process of making that policies and the way they are going to implement, so this all thing is what constitute a governance. So the definition you can use UNDP definition I have written here, that you can use or memorize, and directly you can code this like the as per the UNDP. Governance is the exercise of economic, political, administrative authority to manage country's affair at all level. You can use till here only. So this is if you are using like a certain organization and quoting certain organization, that gives a good impact on the reviewer. So like I would like to give one example, like open defecation free scheme, ODF, which we were like we are trying to create a kind of environment. So we can see how we are using, like what kind of a policies, what kind of a rule we have made in order to implement this, how we are implementing in practical sense, what are the budget has been provided, who all are the stakeholder which has been taken into the consideration while formulating the policies. So this all scenario, or this all stakeholder and policies and everything, budget, this all includes the part of governance. There's a one more thing which I have written, the World's Bank Worldwide Governance Indicator. So there are 6 indicators which has been used by worldwide in order to show the governance. You can use it or you can just quote it somewhere, like voice and accountability, political stability, absence of violence, government effectiveness, regularity or quality, rule of law, and control of corruption. So these are the 6 indicators which has been used by World Bank. So you can use or you can quote in your answer if there is some relevance of, like if you see its relevance in your, the question has been asked by the UPSC or state PCS examination. So what we are going to see, governance is not only related to the like what kind of a policies government is making, it is also related to the corporate governance, international governance, national governance, local governance. So governance is something which is being at each and every level. So in corporate environment, what all policies, what all rule and laws are being implemented, what are the stakeholder, how they are implementing it. The same we see in the international scenario, in national governance, in local governance also. So there are a key dimension, that is around 8 key dimension, which you guys have to keep in your mind, and you can use this dimension directly in your mains answer writing. The first key dimension of the governance is transparency. If suppose we are making any policy, whether that policy is being accessible to each and every person for whom the policy has been formulated. So the transparency part is very important when the policy of government is made. The second is accountability. We always see in India, like we always make certain kind of a scheme and we have a jungle of a scheme related to certain topic. But when it comes to the accountability, we always try to neglect this part. Nobody's in like in government, people try to avoid taking accountability. So this is one of the important part of governance. We should make someone accountable if the policy is being formulated, and if the policy failed, what all, like who is accountable for that. Next is participation. It is not only government is making policy and only government can be the part of it. We have to look after the local people and the common people, I could say. Their participation is much more needed, not only in terms of like when the in terms of implementing that policy, rather we should take the participation of common citizen during the formulation of policy itself. Rule of law, another important point, key dimension of governance, like we have to follow the rule of law. It is not rule by law, rather rule of law. So whatever law we are implementing, that should be coherent as per our constitution, that it should not violate our constitution, it should not violate our fundamental right. So we have to look after it. Efficiency and effectiveness, that is also important. If we are making certain policy, that should have its efficiency in current scenario and its effectiveness also. Consensus oriented, suppose if government is making certain rule for transgender community, so the transgender community should have the consensus. Whatever rule has been made by the government, they should get agree, yes, we need this kind of a challenges, we need this kind of a policies in order to improve our situation. Next is responsiveness. Responsiveness is also important, like in order to whatever kind of a scenario has been or the policy has been implemented, the people should be vigilant, or they should use they should be given a kind of a platform where they can show their in like anger, where they can show their challenges if they have faced something, or grievance redressal mechanism kind of a thing they should be given. And equitable and inclusive, the policy should include each and every section of our society. It should not be made for the certain section of society. No doubt there are certain section which need certain different kind of a policy, but in that section also we need not to categorize that this belong to only that. So the policy should be inclusive and it should be equitable. The next topic which we are going to, what are the challenges in governance? I have further written also the challenges in e-governance. You can use bureaucratic inefficiency, like we have always seen. I already emphasized that we have suppose if for one, in order to solve one issue, there are ample of policies has been made, ample of committee has been made, but when it comes to the practicality, we have seen there is a lack of efficiency in order to implement it. Corruption, one of the biggest, like it is a colonial hangover and it is a colonial legacy, I could say, which we are carrying. And let's see how long we are going to carry it. Next is lack of transparency. Like it's always like opaque system has been made, like you cannot use it, you cannot get the information regarding to that. And for that we have RTI also. Slow grievance redressal mechanism. You might have experience in, like if you go to the chartered citizen chartered thing, or if you go to certain policy which a government has been enclosed, you might not find very accessibility is not very um, like you find some kind certain kind of a difficulties in order to show your grievances. Like if suppose certain scheme you want to opt and it's you are not being able to, you are don't find anyone who can help you, so the you can where you are going to complain. So that is one of the challenges in governance. Low is citizen participation. The most important thing, like people are not aware what all kind of a governance is. So here come the role of self-help group and role of NGO, role of, we can see the local government. So here we can see the role of them in order to implement or in order to make citizen more aware and make the policies more participative. The next we are going to cover the good governance. Here what is, like we have seen what is governance. Now what is a good governance thing? So World Bank has defined, again I have taken the definition from the World Bank. You guys can use directly in your mains answer writing. Good governance in terms of tradition and institutions by which authority in a country is exercised. What it include? It include the process by which governments are selected, monitored and replaced. Like we are following one of the most robust government exercise, that is democracy. The second, capacity of government to effectively formulate and implement sound policies, the respect of in the respect of citizen and the state for the institution that govern economic and social interaction among them. So these are the things which include in order to, whenever you are writing the topic importance of good governance and the theme of good governance, you can use this thing. And one important thought, like one important point here I would like to highlight, that is 25th of December every year we celebrate as a good governance day, and it is also the birth anniversary of our former prime minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So you can use this thing in your mains answer writing, and you can keep in your mind in like in order to, you might see certain question in your prelims also, like 25th December we celebrate as a good governance, and this is the same day we have birth anniversary of former prime minister. Like in the year 2023 itself we have seen related to the August like August in modern, there was a question related to handloom, and they have given certain date and they have asked that we celebrate this because this day also we have completed. So this kind of a question has been asked in asked by UPSC previously also. So what is the importance for citizen? It should be equitable delivery of service, protections of right, economic development. So good governance is we can call a governance as a good governance when it is giving certain kind of a profit or certain kind of a importance to the citizen in terms of economic development, protection of their right and equitable delivery of service. If I talk about in terms of nation, that should be political stability. It should not, like we are seeing in certain state in India, the political stability is not being very coherent. We always see, especially if I take the example of Maharashtra last year, I think we have seen many times the coalition government has been made, the party has been splitted. So this kind like if the government is not stable, who is going to implement the policy? And if government is changing very frequently, then who is responsible to carry forward the previous government policy? We always see whenever the new government came, they change the name of the policy, they launch different new policy, but they don't try to improve the same existing policy, because that is something which we need to look after. Global reputation is another important thing, and the inclusive growth. Next, we are coming to the topic of e-governance, which I have used the example from the World Bank. What is e-governance? If in general I would like to tell, that is nothing. We have to use ICT, information, communication and technology. If we are using and this ICT in our governance policy or in while formulating governance things. So we are using, we can say it is a somehow we are using e-governance. So I would love to read the definition of e-governance provided by World Bank. E-governance as the use of government agency of information technology as wide area network, the internet, mobile computing that can transform relation with citizen, business and other form of government. So we have seen what we have to use. We have to use the digital platform in order to make our governance more good or more comprehensive. So here are the contribution of e-governance, how e-governance can contribute in order to make the governance more uh, sound. The first is effectiveness. I have given certain example here, like one is stop portal. We have Umang app where you can see how citizen and government interaction is taking place. Another is like if we implement e-governance, there would not be need of a paper. So this is how we can also save our tree. And the next is like we can see a speedy process where you can see like Seva in Aadhaar, Seva in Andhra Pradesh, which minimize the delay in service provided by the state government. Another is online taxation. We have seen after digitalizing our policies, we have seen how that in the platform of income tax or in India, e-filing expertise has been provided. The next is transparency, in which we can see real-time information which is provided by Merit India, which offer real-time information insight related to and promoting transparency. Public procurement, I have given you already this example. Government e-marketplace, the question has been asked in prelims itself, in order to ensure transparent procurement. Next is RTI, right to information, where you can, in order to improve your in transparency, we use this platform. Online data, open data incentive, that is data driven decision making. So this is how we are trying to, like, these are the example, one two example which you could remember from effect. If I talk about the effectiveness of e-governance, you can use only 1 2 point, like you can say that paperless transaction is happening, and you can see speedy process. If in order to, if I talk about the transparency, you can use RTI, you can use government e-marketplace, public procurement. If I talk about the accountability, governance redressal mechanism is one of the most important thing in order to make any government policies very effective. And the program like digital system like CPGRAM ensure government accountability. Digital attendance, in which we are seeing like in every office we have that digitally it's being, people are being present or not. Like earlier we have seen in government office people used to come and they someone else is being authorized the position and someone else is coming and making the attendance, and people are not going to their place doing their job. So digital attendance is one of the important tool. Another is social audit. We need to have audit of whatever government policy is being implemented. We have to, time and again we have to check whether the policy which is being implemented has it relevance in today's scenario or not, and if the relevance is not, how we can make it more relevant as per the need of the people. Next is monitoring and evaluation tools like Spargati, centralized monitoring for accountability. So these are certain examples which you cannot keep everything in your mind. So while writing mains answer writing, just 2 3 point, like RTI is something which we cannot forget, we have in our syllabus itself. Governance redressal mechanism is something which always, which is one of the basic thing which in our life also we fail the absence of it. So this is how you can use it. Next we are going to see the role of governance. I have given again certain kind of a example, and the platform which is being used by government for e-governance platform, we have see my government, DigiLocker, e-code. For data analytics and AI like decision making, predictive governance, blockchain usage, data integrity and land record management. And in mobile app, Umang, Arogya Setu, grievance redressal mechanism, CPGRMs. So how digital tool improve governance? So I have already seen, I have already talked about, like in order to enhance transparency, like digital audit we can do. In order to enhance accountability, real time monitoring we can use. In order to have more participation of people, citizen feedback system we can have. in order to make it more effective, we should use that faster service delivery. So these are the way through which we can improve the governance system. The next point, we can see what are the challenges. That is one of the most important thing in order to see, and the most important part of governance. Like everybody know what is governance and all. So the challenges which is very important in order to see. Let's have a look of it. Digital divide in India. We already say, I have given the certain example also. Like I have used the certain um, factual information which you can use in your mains answer writing. The India Inequality Report 2022, Digital Divide by Oxfam. The richest 60% Indians are 4 times more likely to use digital payment facility than poorest 40%. So you can directly quote this example in your answer. So there's a big digital divide, not only in terms of the area like rural or urban, or not only in terms of a gender male and female, but also in terms of the people who are rich and who are poor. Next is privacy concern. Time and again we have seen a lot of data has been hacked by the hacker and used by like government fail in order to protect our privacy. Complex user interface. Lot of the time whenever you visit certain site of government, you see you might not be able to use it effectively because that is not user friendly, as it's not written in your languages, so you might not visit that website. As you in your if suppose in your village there is a problem of electricity or problem of internet connectivity, so that is something which is create a kind of a hurdle in order to access this e-governance services. Next we can see inefficient backend administration. Like I already said about that outdated administrative system we are using. Language barrier, like we hardly see anything in related to local language. We are using certain kind of like website is not provided. Mostly the people website has either Hindi or English, so there are a lot of people who might not be very good in English or Hindi. So there is this create a kind of a barrier in order to access them this policy. Additional we can say privacy security infrastructure related issue. We, like I already said, we see how the hacker used our data and our privacy is put at the risk. Use of local language is something very much needed. We should use, like recently I have observed in television or YouTube, whenever the advertisement came, the advertisement uses the local language, like they are using Bhojpuri, they are using South Indian language in order to advertise their project. So we also need to include this local languages, or make our government website or governance policies very much accessible in local language also, in order to improve it or in order to make it more robust. The next point we can see here, the way forward. So I always say that whatever challenges you are seeing, you can use the same point as a way forward. So what we need to do in order to tackle that challenges, we need to promote digital literacy, we need to enhance cyber security measure, we need to enhance infrastructure development, we have to use multiple language platform, we have to see the backend digitization is also important, we have to use a lot of training program. Quick redressal mechanism is something which we need to look. User friendly interface is what we are in need of. So this is how you can use your own challenges and you can write in a way forward also. So that is how it make your answer more comprehensive. And that is one of the shortcut I could say, or it is a kind of a smart study which you can do, or a smart way of writing your answer. You can use this case in your answer writing in your essay also. Like Aadhaar, we have seen benefit of it, direct benefit transfer, reduce leakages and improved financial inclusion. You can use the Digital India initiative, which is like increasing the rural internet penetration. Goods and services tax network, that is how it is increasing the tax compliance. So you can just use this as a reference in your answer or in your essay. The next we can see here how UPSC has asked, like I have given certain question of the 2023, and discuss the challenges of good governance in India and suggest measure to improve it. So I already have given the challenges and way forward also. This is how you can use this information. Examine the role of e-governance in improving service delivery in India. So you can use this again, the same data which I have provided here. And in prelims question, I already said multiple time question has been asked related to government e-marketplace, Aadhaar card. So this is how you can use this thing. In conclusion, you can use this conclusion as it is: the importance of Gandhi Antyodaya in order to re-establish decent governance. We can also use the Chanakya policy, how Chanakya has emphasized on the governance. You might have read in your history the role of Chanakya. And I already suggested that in today's newspaper, the last column you can use also as a conclusion. So digital tools are transforming governance by making it more transparent, accountable and efficient. So whatever kind of challenges we are having, we just need to look after it, and the digital governance is one of the best way in order to tackle any kind of in order to implement our policies. So what all resources and references I have used, that I have written here, you can go in, you can look after it, like UPSC previous year question paper, Lakshmikant governance in India, official website like Digital India portal, my government. So that's all from my side. I don't know how much my voice is clear because I'm having certain throat infection. So that's all from my side. Hope to see you tomorrow. That's all. Take care. See you soon.